Jamal Adams is great. There's absolutely no denying that. You know, Mike has it worded he might be the best young safety in the NFL. Jamal Adams is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. That's how good Jamal Adams is. He is a great, transformative, outstanding future Hall of Famer. That's how talented this kid is if he stays healthy. But he wants out of New York, despite having 2 years left on his rookie contract, taken 6th overall out of LSU. Now, last week, Teak, it was revealed Adams has 8 preferred destinations on them, right? 8 of them, right?
I know.
If I can't get
any other team but the Jets.
Basically, I mean, 8 teams. It's basically, yeah, it's about a little more than whatever, I guess,
A quarter,
25%
right?
of the
A
league.
quarter, yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, talk about being a little presumptuous here.
Yeah.
And by the way, the list is probably if you asked every player to construct a list of
They'd all be the same. Give me the Cowboys, give me the Kansas City Chiefs,
yeah.
right?
You get some
give me the
differences.
Ravens.
Some guys were obviously born in different spots.
Yeah.
You might have some flexibility there, like hometown teams. But yeah, you'd have a lot of Ravens, which Jamal has. You've got the Texans, you've got the Chiefs, you've got the Eagles, the 49ers, Seattle, the Bucks, and Dallas. So
Come on,
yeah,
man.
all the good ones, all the interesting ones. Yesterday, a fan posted a cell phone video asking Adams if he was going to be in Dallas next year, and Adams responded, "I'm trying, bro." That's what he said right from his car, kept driving. In or out, Dallas would be the best team in the NFC if they added Adams.
There's a lot of good teams in the NFC, BT.
Yeah.
I'm going to say out of bounds here. I think that San Francisco is still in this conversation. The Saints are still in this conversation. Who knows what the Bucks are going to be? I think the Cowboys they're there, but they're less at the top of my list and more at like the top middle of my list, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
And adding Jamal Adams he'd be an impact player, but I don't think he bumps him above some of the other teams that I expect to be at the top. So I'm going to say out of bounds.
I'm going to say inbounds here, but I would also say that, you know, if he was traded to, say, the Niners, I would probably say that it would bump the Niners up.
That's a good point.
If he was traded to Seattle, I can make a pretty good case there. If he goes to the Bucks with Brady and those offensive horses, you could probably make the case, boom. Plus, they've got some under-the-radar defensive pieces as well, as you and I know, because we've had a few of them on the show.
Yep.
Listen, Dallas right now, they've got a lot going for them. And I was critical when they took CeeDee Lamb with their first-round pick. You know, I didn't really always love the talent of Lamb for sure. But I thought they could have gone in a different direction. They lost a lot of guys in free agency on defense. They lost 3 starters on defense. But, and I circled back to this and basically said I was wrong. I have no problem doing that. What they did after the Lamb pick really turned my head, and I thought they had a terrific draft. So they got some guys in their prime. They got some young ascending pieces. Jamal Adams is that good? My answer would be yes, it would be Dallas, inbounds. In an interview with the New York Post, Cuban discussed a unique idea to allow fans, I don't know if you guys caught this, basically to interact in games from home. We know about the sterile environment everybody's worried about, and it's just going to seem kind of odd. Do you pipe in noise? What do you do? Well, Cuban said, quote, "We've been having a lot of fun with apps that allow fans to push noise they make at home into the arena." End quote. In or out, this idea to allow fans to make noise from home to be played and piped into the venue is in or out?
Out of bounds, man.
Come on.
I mean, BT, can you imagine what's going to come over the airways if they allow this to actually go forward?
Well, it's going to be on delay. There's going to be no curses. You monitor it.
Of course it's going to be on delay, but fans are going to find a way to fit stuff in. I mean, you know how they are.
They might.
Right?
They might.
It sounds like a good idea. And if it's not live, then what's the point? Right? So you got to have someone riding like the the board all the time. So, I mean, D-Cell, you want to sign up for that job, D-Cell?
They probably pay him more than we're paying him, so he'd probably say, "Peace, I'm going." My answer is so inbounds. Are you kidding me? Listen, this is about experimentational stuff. I mean, that's what this is about. And not all of it's going to work. Every league that gets back, whether it's the court, the diamond, the ice, whatever, you just have fun. Try stuff. And, you know, it might seem innovative initially in your head as the idea is born, and then we throw it up the flagpole, it's well received, and then you have a Zoom meeting and everybody's gung-ho, and then you actually implement it, and it's horrendous. You zap it. You get rid of it in one day. What's the big damn deal? I am all about for trying stuff and throwing it against the wall, and if it works, awesome. If not, scrap it, get back in the laboratory, use the technology we have. I love it. I think it's creative. I think it's cool. I think since day one, we've been opposite this. I think you need to pipe in some sort of noise. It would be too sterile. It would be too, it would be weird. It wouldn't feel like, it would feel like a funeral. You need that palpable buzz, even if it's contrived. We know it's contrived, but maybe we can fool our senses for a couple hours. Inbounds, absolutely. Come on, you're a Grinch. You got to stop with this. All right, it's been a rough couple of weeks for Oklahoma State. First being hit with a postseason ban in college hoops. We know about that. And then the drama with Mike Gundy's T-shirt. However, the Cowboys got some great news. Today is the nation's #1 overall recruit, Cade Cunningham, announced on Twitter. He's saying he's going to stay. He's going to honor his commitment to play this season in Stillwater, despite the Cowboys having that postseason ban. So a stand-up move. Didn't have to do that, as we know. In or out, Cunningham is making a mistake staying at Oklahoma State rather than transferring or going to the G League.
I'm going to say out of bounds here. It just shows maybe it's telling us that he is not necessarily interested in going to the NCAA tournament. He's really focused on getting to the NBA, and he wants to go to college experience for a year. And I mean, if they were going to be great and go to the NCAA tournament, who cares really? Because I had a great 1 year college experience, and now I'm going to go to the league. It's different than some of the other options out there, but I respect him for doing this, and honestly, I applaud him. Because a college atmosphere, even if it's just for, I don't know, 8 months or whatever it is he's going to be actually in classes.
Yep.
It's something you got to do if you really care about it. And I think he does care about it.
Listen, I totally agree with you here. I commend the young man. Good for him. Out of bounds. Listen, did Markelle Fultz have some long run in the NCAA tournament? They didn't even make the big dance, by the way.
Yes.
Now, his shot got broken after that, but he still went first overall.
That was injury, though, right? I mean...
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't need
the
glory. That's what I'm getting at here.
Same with, what's his name, from LSU? I'm forgetting his name. Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. They made the NIT. They declined it. Did not play in the NC2A. DeAndre Ayton, if I recall, got bumped by Buffalo.
First round.
First round. I think it was the 12-5 game, whatever it was.
It was the same one with the Virginia. So Virginia lost.
Yes.
116, and like the next day,
correct.
They lost.
So, listen, there's a lot of documented names here that Andrea Bargnani, I'm not saying he was good, but that was he would have been 06, Andrea. He came from Italy, came from Europe, so there was no NCAA, template of this great, march to cutting down nets. Can you play or not? Here's the other thing, too. Without the emphasis on team, not that you want to just become a chucker and alienate everybody, but because you're not playing for anything outside of your own self-worth, really, and to be a good teammate, hopefully, you can experiment on things with your game, whether it's left hand, whether it's fall away, whether it's three-point shooting, whatever is a little deficient, you can kind of break away from the team concept because the team concept is not as important this year. So I think it's a great chance to get better, and it's a stand-up move. Out of bounds. I commend the young man. Good job. NASCAR's had an interesting weekend. First race since banning the Confederate flag was supposed to be yesterday before it was postponed for weather. Things didn't go well. First fans blocked traffic near Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama, brandishing Confederate flags and selling Confederate items and trinkets on the street. Then there was a plane that flew over the track with a large Confederate flag saying, "Defund NASCAR." You know, the word defund is all over the news. If you just watch 1 second of the news, you know that. Finally, and worst of all, the FBI announced it is investigating after a noose was found in the garage, just reprehensible, of black driver Bubba Wallace. Even though NASCAR is making the right moves for equality, which they most certainly are, it will lose sponsors and advertisers due to the actions of its fans.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, BT. I think in time the NASCAR will get stronger. So I'm going to say out of bounds to this one. But there was a cool moment today because obviously they're running the race at Talladega today. All of the other drivers stood behind Bubba Wallace in solidarity for the playing of the national anthem, which was amazing. And then Bubba said, "Let's shut them haters up." Yeah, that's how, you got to be defined. You know, and you have to be if you're Bubba Wallace, being the only black driver on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit right now. So, I mean, I think these drivers, these teams, and NASCAR in total is sees it, and they get it, and they're not going to let a small minority of fans deter what is a great sport.
I agree. Again, specifically we're talking money here, but I still agree here because, listen, you're going to lose some people with, antiquated, sick views of the world. And that's good, actually. That's fine. They won't be missed. Trust us.
Good point.
But what you will gain is, an influence, a surge of people who now suddenly want to be identified with something they previously did not want to be identified with from a corporate point of view, even from an individual branding corporate point of view. Like Alvin Kamara was there last week. I mean, it's opening up doors. So, listen, there might be like a local sponsor that could drop out. You will lose some fans. You will, and you'll see this sick stuff, unfortunately. But big picture, the sport will be better. Just got to remain vigilant. And they will. They seem like they're on the right track. And you and I are both giving them great props. That's probably the toughest sport. It should never be tough to do the right thing. But of all the sports trying to do the right thing, that was the one that was going to have the most resistance. So
and they nailed it right out the park.
Exactly. Yep.
Tune in next time for another edition of Inbounds or Out of Bounds with Tiki and Tierney.